Hello friends, welcome to our channel History Chronicles. As we journey deeper into the French Revolution, we've witnessed the rise of the Jacobins and their pivotal role in shaping the course of the revolution. But what was it about this group that made them so influential, so feared, and ultimately so powerful? Today, we're going to take a closer look at the epicenter of this radical movement, the Jacobin Club. Picture Paris in the late 1780s, a city buzzing with revolutionary fervor. In the midst of this political upheaval, a group of like-minded individuals began gathering in a former Dominican convent on the Rue Saint-Honoré. This was the birthplace of what would become the Jacobin Club, originally known as the Society of the Friends of the Constitution. The club's name was derived from its location, as the Dominicans were often referred to as Jacobins, after the convent of Saint-Jacques in Paris. At first, the Jacobin Club was just one of many political clubs springing up across France, but it quickly distinguished itself through its strict organizational structure and its commitment to the revolutionary cause. The club was open to all who shared its ideals, but it was particularly attractive to the educated middle class, lawyers, journalists, and intellectuals who sought to influence the direction of the revolution. The club's early meetings were characterized by intense debates on the issues of the day, everything from the abolition of feudal privileges to the establishment of a constitutional monarchy. As the revolution progressed, the Jacobins grew more radical in their views, and their influence began to extend far beyond the walls of the convent. One of the key factors that set the Jacobins apart was their ability to build a vast network of affiliated clubs throughout France. By 1791, there were hundreds of Jacobin societies spread across the country, each one connected to the central club in Paris. This network allowed the Jacobins to spread their ideas rapidly and mobilize support on a national scale. It also enabled them to coordinate political action and apply pressure on the National Assembly. The club's influence was further amplified by its leadership. Figures like Maximilien Robespierre, Jean-Paul Marat, and Georges Danton became the faces of the Jacobin movement. Robespierre, in particular, was a master of oratory, and his speeches at the Jacobin Club often set the tone for the revolution's next steps. His unwavering commitment to the revolution and his belief in the necessity of virtue and terror made him both revered and feared within the club. But the Jacobin Club was not just a place for fiery rhetoric and political maneuvering. It was also a hub for revolutionary culture. The club organized festivals, produced pamphlets, and even influenced fashion, promoting the red Phrygian cap as a symbol of liberty. The club's meetings were often open to the public, and they became a focal point for the revolutionary energy that was sweeping through Paris. As the revolution became more radical, so too did the Jacobin Club. By 1792, the club had become the driving force behind some of the revolution's most significant actions. It was the Jacobins who pushed for the abolition of the monarchy and the establishment of the French Republic. It was the Jacobins who supported the execution of King Louis XVI, believing that the survival of the revolution depended on the elimination of the old regime. However, the club's influence came at a cost. The more powerful the Jacobins became, the more they were seen as a threat by their rivals. The Girondins, another revolutionary faction, clashed with the Jacobins over the direction of the revolution. The rivalry between the two groups became so intense that it eventually led to the purge of the Girondins from the National Convention in 1793, a move orchestrated by the Jacobins to consolidate their power. The Jacobin Club reached the height of its power during the Reign of Terror, a period in which the club's radicalism and Robespierre's influence were at their peak. The club became synonymous with the Committee of Public Safety, which directed the terror and ordered the executions of thousands of perceived enemies of the revolution. The guillotine became the ultimate symbol of Jacobin justice, and the streets of Paris were filled with fear. But as with all things in the revolution, the Jacobins' power was fleeting. The same paranoia and suspicion that had fueled the Reign of Terror eventually turned inward. The revolutionary government, now dominated by the Jacobins, became increasingly unstable. Robespierre's refusal to moderate his views or share power led to his isolation, even within the Jacobin ranks. In July 1794, the Jacobin club's power came crashing down with the fall of Robespierre. The 9th of Thermidor marked the beginning of the end for the Jacobins. Robespierre and his closest allies were arrested and executed, and the Jacobin Club, once the beating heart of the revolution, was effectively disbanded. The club's meeting hall was closed, and its members were either arrested or went into hiding. The legacy of the Jacobin Club is complex. On one hand, the club played a crucial role in advancing the revolution and pushing for the radical changes that transformed France. On the other hand, it also became a symbol of the excesses and violence that marred the revolution. The Jacobins' belief in the use of terror to achieve their goals has been both condemned and admired, depending on one's perspective on the revolution. As we close this chapter on the Jacobin Club, we must reflect on the paradox of the revolution. It was a movement driven by the ideals of liberty, equality, and fraternity. Yet it was also a movement that, in its most radical phase, embraced terror and tyranny. The Jacobin Club encapsulates this paradox, a force for revolutionary change that, in its quest for purity and justice, ultimately consumed itself. In our next episode, we will explore the birth of the French Republic and the seismic shift that took place as France moved from monarchy to a new form of government. Thank you for joining us on History Chronicles. The revolution is far from over, and there are still many twists and turns to come. Stay with us as we continue to unravel the complex and compelling story of the French Revolution. See you next time.